plan on taking that show to my students, well, because they're up-and-coming aviation people, to show them and use it as an example of what they should not do and that they need to speak up.
So clearly there's concern. You lay it out in the show. We reached out to the FAA to see what it had to say about all of this. And it told us that it mandates all airline pilots and crew members to complete interpersonal communication training. And it says it isn't seeing the data that supports the show's central claim that pilot communications is to blame for airline disasters.
Well,
so I want to get you to respond to that, obviously.
That's dumb. They're dumb. And here's the issue, is that they do, like, I trained to be a pilot, and I'm a 737 pilot. I went through the training. The training is someone shows you a PowerPoint slide saying, if you are a co-pilot and the captain does something wrong, you need to speak up about it. That's all. That's the training. And they talk about some crashes that happened, but they don't do anything that makes it stick emotionally and makes you, like, so pilots think they'll act a certain way in an accident, but like the crash that just happened here, it seemed like they saw that was sort of the issue, right?
A lot of disconnects between multiple parties. And
so you've seen evidence that a lack of communication, if you will, between a pilot and a co-pilot in the cockpit has caused a crash?
Not contributed.
Has contributed to a crash.
That's what they said in that. Do I agree?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was my whole thing. That's the whole show. But I mean, it's like a human thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely stuff, I'm sure you guys, like, you brought up the analogy, but like, I'm sure, Pamela, you don't say some things to Wolf, or, because you're, between you two, who would be like the boss or the more, like, you're Wolf Blitzer, right? So you're like, your name is first on the thing. So I'm sure, Pamela, at times you might not want to say, you know, oh, Wolf wants to do something, you don't think it's a good idea. You might not want to express that always.
She's very blunt.
We actually have a pretty, I understand your
But
point.
you have to say that now.
No.
I know, but you don't want to say to Wolf, you can't, you know, as a journalist, you don't want to say, oh, I don't want to.
She says that.
She says it to you.
Yeah.
So maybe you're afraid to say something.
Here's the great thing about Wolf is
I'm
he
very
doesn't have
blunt
an
with her,
ego.
Okay.
He has no ego, but I take your point that, like,
I mean, Wolf's in movies and stuff.
He's a big deal.
He's
There
Mission
is
Impossible.
no question.
So that's intimidating. That can be intimidating.
That can be intimidating.
That's sort of the thing we're trying to explore a little bit.